gonna try something new today. We are live streaming this. Oh, hey, everyone. Okay, so now I'm live. Perfect. So I hope everyone can hear and see me now. Welcome to today's live stream with AMA with live NitroDome. So we are trying something new today. We are doing a video live stream AMA that you can join either on Telegram, on X, previously Twitter, and on YouTube. The recording of this live stream should be available on YouTube after the live stream has ended. And so super excited to have this AMA today. Today with us we have NitroDome. They will be onboarded right now, and we are going to talk to the founders of NitroDome, Gordon and Paul, about what's NitroDome exactly, what's in store for NitroDome in the future, and I'm really looking forward to that. So please bring them on board, guys, so we can have them join as well. We already had a lot of really interesting conversations for the last couple of months with the guys. Hey, Gordon. Hey, Paul. Really nice to have you guys here. Hope you're doing well. So let's get this started. Guys, I think before we dive into NitroDome, would be nice to learn a little bit more about yourself. So, what was your background actually? Where did you came from? What do you do? What did you do before you entered in Web3? And how did you get into Web3? What's keeping you in Web3? And lastly, what do you exactly do at NitroDome?
Hey guys, Matthijs. First of all, thanks a lot for having us here. It's a pleasure being part of your community. From my side, I'm the CEO, founder, and main dev for NitroDome. And my history is a bit, I worked like 15 years as IT business analyst, mainly in the logistics sector, was responsible for, SAP and coordinating between the project management and the development department. And over the time, I was like, hey, what these guys are doing is kind of interesting. So I dived into development, learned after my day job to bring myself to the next level, and learned like deep. Apparently in 2019, where COVID came up, I was sent home and I was like bored, and then I started just doing some development. I developed my first iOS app and played around and figured out how things are working, and it became like a passion for me. And at some point I decided, no, I want to do this for a lifetime, just full time. And so I skipped my day job and made myself like kind of self-employed. And at this time I also had some connections within the crypto sphere and started working on some like early DeFi projects in 2020 as developer. And so my career began literally there. So that's a bit of a background, how I became a Web3 developer. As I worked in several projects, the most issue projects having, like, they're building for a short term, right? They're building something and, launch it, and 3 months later it's dead. For me, it was like, no, I want to build something that is, has legs, was made for the future for several years and not just for a momentum. And, if you build something on these products and you're always like sad because they're shutting down, and you put a lot of work into that as developer. And so, that was where the point came where I was saying, I know I want to build something for my own and it should have legs. And as I met Paul earlier these days, like 2020 as well, we decided to do something together. And so the idea of NitroDome has been born literally in these days. But that's a bit of a background from my end. And by the way, I'm based in Europe, Austria. So I'm speaking German as well. So if I'm a bit unclear or too fast, just Matthijs, like, push me a bit. I speak slower then.
No, I think I could understand you very well. Thank you so much, Gordon. Also, very interested in hearing your story, Paul.
Hi, thanks for inviting us, Matthijs. This is quite an honor to work with your project and your team. I've been a software dev for a little over 35 years in the corporate world, Fortune 500 and others, doing a lot of database work, a lot of software development, and towards the end of my corporate career was doing a lot of architecture work, design work, building larger systems for speed and stability. In about 2017, I got into blockchain, and once I learned the rules of blockchain, I was able to realize it's just a big database and it's all about speed and reliability. And it was quickly apparent that the issues in Web3 and software development is building architecture, building strong platforms, building stability. And that's a serious lacking point. And so I've spent a lot of time since then working with a lot of different projects as CTO, doing architecture, design work, structure to make sure that everything's built for future proof. And I met up with Gordon on a project we were working on. We were both brought in together separately, and quickly discovered that Gordon has the same type of mindset of building something that is built to last, can withstand the rigors of going forward in the future in blockchain and be scalable. And so we got together and we built NitroDome, and I'm the CTO of NitroDome.
That's quite cool. So you met each other at another project, and there, after building a relationship, decided to start a venture together. That's pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
apparently.
in Web3, yeah, when you find like-minded individuals, it's you start building your core group because there's a lot of not like-minded individuals out there.
100%, 100%. I mean, let's not forget that I also had to meet Rashid once, which happened in, I think, January, February 2018. So it's already more than 6 years ago right now. And we also met like in a way where we found out that we were really like-minded before we founded Alliance Block, now known as Nexera, of course. Yeah, cool stories. Thank you for sharing your backgrounds and exactly what you do in NitroDome, how you got in Web3. So what was really striking for me when I first got talking to you guys is that you already built so much. Like, you stayed under the radar for a while. You built out a lot of tech. A lot of it's completely operational, can be used, can be integrated. You built something to demonstrate the tech as well. Before even launching a token, thinking about how the token launch should look like, which I think is very admirable. But speaking about that tech, what exactly, before we dive into that tech, how would you explain NitroDome in simple terms? Like, what you guys do? What kind of problems are you trying to solve?
Well, the main problems we're trying to solve is we created a concept of a Web 2 to Web 3 bridge. We kind of looked at the market. We looked at the way a lot of different projects are doing. We looked at problems with adoption with Web 3, and we realized that putting Web 3 directly into applications, including games seems to be the one that people are most putting Web 3 into, and all of the problems that come along with it, the knowledge gap, the time it takes, and to be quite honest, the way it breaks an actual game. It breaks the fun. It interrupts the the structure of the game. And so we looked at different ways to streamline that and make it easier for projects to actually use Web3. And so we created a bridge that allows us to implement Web3 on the back end without ever actually touching the application itself or the game or whatever application, Web2 application you happen to have. And by doing this, and we originally built this very hard coded, just as a POC. And the challenges we had were making it flexible enough that we could take this, that a project could take this API that we've built, this Web3 API, and put it into their Web2 project in a matter of hours, rather than weeks, months, years of trying to get it into their game without changing their game or without changing their product, without making their users completely understand Web3, and without making their without making their developers even understand Web3. So we simplified it, we extracted it, and our platform, we do 90% plus of the heavy lifting of the bridge. There's a small 5 to 10% that actually is on the developer, and it's very simple and it's very, very straightforward. Probably less than 1,000 lines of code.
That's actually quite cool if you think about it. Even if you're a large game studio, but let's think about all the indie game studios that do not have the budget to develop something to integrate Web3 into their game. because it takes months, or like you said, maybe even a year or more of development time in order to integrate the right Web3 functionality and core components into that. And if you can reduce that back to hours, it's insane. Like, it's a lot of opportunity, right?
It is. It's extracting this concept of putting Web3 into a Web2 project into a simple package that can be done in hours with examples. It changes the game entirely. I mean, literally. It just changes everything.
Wow, that's what we love to hear. That's why we invited you to Fundrs. Hey, and is it? Could you maybe tell me a little bit more about the core technology behind NitroDome? Can we delve a little bit in it, like specifically how does it integrate Web2 and Web3 assets?
So from a technological aspect, we instead of most Web3 projects, they'll actually put Web3 directly in the game. They'll have Wallet Connect or whatever the case is directly in the game, and they do maybe some account abstraction and other things. But the idea is you kind of it has to be integrated, and there's security flaws and there's security issues. The developers have to completely understand Web3 and all of the intricacies of blockchain to be able to do this inside their game. And so our technology actually attaches to the back-end database of a project. And if you look at almost any Web2 project, game, everything, it's almost all run on databases. Very few projects or any applications are not run with a database. And so our technology runs and connects to the database. And we have a platform. On our platform, you can actually log in to log into the application. And now I can say, this user on our platform is this user in this application. And so here's my inventory, or here's my items, and then here's my NFTs, which are being pulled from the blockchain. And so it's all done on our website. The actual UI of the portal is on our website. And so it's very simple at this point to have simple communication with the back end of the game to say, hey, user wants to take this NFT and make it an item in your project or in your game or your whatever. And user wants to take these items from their inventory. And I'm using terminology related to games because gaming is our first vertical that we're going to be implementing. There are others, but gaming is the first one because gamers are usually a little more likely to adopt new tech. They're always really pushing. They always want to try something new. That's why they're gamers. They like to try things. And so the gaming vertical is the first one we're tapping, because it just seems like the right thing to do. And it's also very easy to understand. I have game items. I have my inventory. I can bring those out as NFTs through the portal, or I can take NFTs through the portal and make them game items. So very simple to go back and forth.
It's simple to explain, like in the world that most people understand. Like, a lot of people have games, so they know what an inventory and what items are, right? And it makes sense. It's easier to grasp the concept and explain. So that makes you. So you're not a gaming-fi project or a gaming project. You're broader than that.
We are much broader than that. The main technology we have is the portal, and it's actually a Web2 to Web3 bridge, and there can be put into any vertical. It could be real estate, it could be intellectual property, it could be anything. There are so many systems out there. I recently saw that there was some project put, what was it, the car registrations, the DMV in California put them on chain. It was a multi-million-dollar operation to be able to do that. And it took them so long to do. With our technology, we could have just tapped into the back end of their database, and people could have NFTified, which is a term we kind of coined and we've been working on, as a NFTifying an asset very quickly without actually changing the way the DMV does their work. Very simple.
Nice.
And so this is where, but on top of that, and in addition to the bridge, we have also added all kinds of other ways to manage assets. We have our NFT DEX, which is actually a liquidity pool for NFTs. So we have liquidity pools for ERC20 tokens. We have liquidity pools for NFTs. So now you can buy and sell NFTs directly into liquidity, which is amazing. We have our standard marketplace. We have Launchpad for launching NFTs. We have a gaming platform where you can showcase your assets and your game and your project. So we have multiple utilities surrounding management of those assets.
Wow. I mean, exactly like I said, you have built so much already before you even launching a token. It's very impressive. And I really love the fact that everything that you've built, you can explain it very easy for people to grasp in this gaming narrative. But I think the analogy with the DMV, with the car registrations, is very inspiring to showcase like what else is possible. Like it's a really broad concept, infrastructure that can be used for real world use cases, real world problem solving. That's super exciting. And during the development of all of this technology, like when did you guys started exactly with the development, and um, what kind of problems did you face in this ambitious undertaking?
Paul, you go for it.
Are you sure? I've been very chatty here. I'll let Gordon talk. I'll do the tech questions. I'll let him do the other management stuff. But the technological problems we face, to be quite honest, I believe in elegant solutions, and I believe in good architecture. And so the concept is simple. As you said, it's easy to explain. And so our technological issues were honestly extracting the complexity from the game or Web 2 API side. That was probably the biggest technological challenges we had, was extracting the complexity as much. I mean, it was like squeezing the complexity out of it as much as possible to make it simple, fast, efficient, and for developers that don't understand Web3 and blockchain to be able to actually use. Now there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but it's not the learning curve of understanding the entire blockchain and all contracts and solidity and all of those things. Those are completely extracted. So our technological challenges were simplifying it to the point where it's easily digestible from somebody who understands development in a Web 2 world.
Nice. Very good. You already was diving a little bit into your product line. Can you give a little bit more detail about the entire product line and what every product's focus is or goals are? What role do they play in your ecosystem?
I'll pass this one to Gordon. He knows that much better than I do even.
I appreciate it, Paul. I hope my mic is good now.
Yes.
Yeah, so since we had a lot of time and over the 3 years, there's a lot of development power. So you can build and achieve a lot of things. We started first with the gaming platform, and the gaming platform literally has like core components, as Paul already pointed out. You can not only review games, see game events, game launches, games news, trailers, and everything, but one of the core components is the portal. It's literally our Web 2 to Web 3 bridge where we can attach games, and I also will showcase on a later point how it works. But this is one of our core components within the gaming platform. Besides that, we have our NFT marketplace. It works literally like OpenSea. Users can set their game items as for an auction, can list it for sales, or can just pick up. But one of the core components within the marketplace is also the NFT DEX. So it's straightforward. Users can just go in a liquidity position. They see all the NFTs and can pick one from them, or they even can sell their NFT items or game assets into a liquidity position. So they don't need to wait for a buyer and seller. They instantly just can pick it up from a liquidity pool for a price floor that is defined within the liquidity. Beside that, we have staking and DeFi elements within the NFT marketplace. So you can stake NFTs, or you can stake the native token, so to get some rewards. And beside that, we have our own DEX build, because if we talk about NFT liquidity, the liquidity pools need to be hosted somewhere, right? So we can just go with SushiSwap or Uniswap, but we decided, hey, we want to have our own DEX. So we have our own DEX build where we will deploy our liquidity positions for the NFTs. And additionally to that, we have apparently 3 games built over the time. So we come along with Robomaniacs, which is a bigger Web 2 MMO game, a browser-based game. And the game has in particular been designed to show how easy it is to attach a game to the Web 2 portal and how to, play the game, have all the Web 2 benefits. And if you, as a user, want to have the Web 3 benefits, like how to make it happen, right? So therefore, we designed the game in order to have a good showcase. And together with that, we have Mentopoly and The Moon. Like, these are 2 other games, and they're in production already since a year. And the community loves it. So that's our rundown. So we have built a lot.
Can people already play this game?
Yeah, so Robomaniac is in a closed beta. We make it open next week. So whoever is interested, just shoot us a DM. We add you to the group, and then we can play together. And
is that before the fundraise goes live?
Yes, of course.
Nice. Okay, so
Yeah.
people can try playing before the fundraise goes live.
Yes, definitely. And
Awesome.
then the Metopoly game is already live, but we never made big marketing out of it. It growed. It was like, for the early community guys, it was something to play around with, and the game obviously growed over time as well. It has its own developer inside of NitroDome, and he built some huge progress over it. And so we have a lot of people enjoying this already.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, the problem, and we faced, the same thing in Nexera, is that if you have a lot of products inside of a single ecosystem, it can be, well, first of all, it can be quite hard to understand, like, where they all link together. And sometimes you don't have to understand as a user. You just need to use that single product all the time. But there should be like some kind of synergy between these products. Like, how did you look at that? And can you give some examples of those synergies between all the products?
Can you? I got cut off. Can you rephrase the last one, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So with so many products in your product line and having an ecosystem, like, did you have any specific kind of a plan or ideas on how to get synergies between all these products so that they work together seamlessly, so that the user experience is very seamless while using all these products?
Of course, absolutely. I appreciate the question, and thanks for rephrasing. So all the products, like, operating together, right? So from a technical standpoint, they're all sharing one database. So information are like accessible from all platforms, right? If you're on the gaming platform, you can see all your NFT assets and items you own. If you're on a marketplace, you get the same information. So everything is synced between the products. Also, the NFT DEX pulls the information from the DEX, and if you're on the DEX, you see all the liquidity information as well. So the products are using the same database structure and sharing the same information. Also with the portal, and has been designed by Paul, the game items and everything is synced deeply with the gaming platform as well. So if you think from a utility standpoint, the products has been designed not to have something different. It has been designed in order that everything literally works together, right? So I give you an example. You play a Web 2 game that you found on the gaming platform. You go into the game and you play, you earn some great gaming assets. You go back to the gaming platform and you use the portal in order to extract the game assets as NFT. Now you have the NFT, you can circle back to the marketplace and can trade your NFT assets, or you can just buy them or sell them into liquidity, right? So if you're interested deeper in the NFT DEX, you just go to the DEX and manage your liquidity position. So it's like kind of circle of how things operate together.
Wow. And like, of course, we spoke a little bit about the fact that you built all this tech before a token launch, but you're now going to fundraise on Fundrs and gonna issue a token, the NitroDome token. So meaning that there will be a token, and that token for sure will have a role in your ecosystem. And can you tell us a little bit more, like, what that exact utility of the token is?
Absolutely. For us, it was important to design something where the token is fully incorporated, because if you have a token and there is no use case and no utility, the token becomes, I wouldn't say worthless, but it needs to have something behind the scenes, right? So we were highly interested to incorporate the token everywhere. Starting on the NitroDome gaming platform, we use the portal in order to extract game assets or import like NFTs into a game, you need to pay a small fee. We're talking about microcents, but this needs to be covered by the NitroDome token as well. So if you go on the platform and you purchase in-game assets, they can be purchased with the NitroDome token as well. So these are utilities inside there. Within the NFT DEX, if you buy and sell NFTs, there's a fee as well that is being covered by the NitroDome token as well. And we have the like the NFT DEX literally has the fees and is buying back automatically in the background the NitroDome token. So additionally, and also the NFT marketplace, the items can be listed for NitroDome token as well. So NitroDome becomes a payment token within the entire NFT marketplace. That's the utility for the token, and I guess I expect like the more users we get on the platform, the more volume and traction will be on the token because it's incorporated in everything.
Exactly. Yeah, makes sense. So plenty of utility to go around.
Definitely.
With tech that is already working. Like a lot of these products are going to be live on mainnet soon or already live.
Well, we have tested a lot and on several chains as well, but I think Paul, you wanna go into that from a technical or
Yeah,
are you
so
muted? Yeah.
the way that our system is built is there's a lot of. Am I muted?
No.
Am I okay?
Yes, you're okay.
I am not. Okay. So the way our system is built is there's a lot of utility for the token, and so the token will be launching on mainnet on ETH, but we will not be providing utility on ETH due to gas costs. It doesn't make sense to, especially with gas spikes. Somebody's going to pay $30 to bring an NFT out. Well, suddenly that's just too expensive to even utilize. So on ETH, our token will be a governance token. It's not an actual DAO, but we will allow certain types of voting, which projects we want to fund or which projects next to bring on the platform or other things like that, or provide liquidity for our NFT DEX. The actual utility will be on other side chains. Base will be our first one. And Base will be our first one. We'll actually have the token. We already are using Nexera Bridge to bring our tokens over to Avalanche. And so we'll be having that on Base. And so all of our utility will be on side chains. And the way we built our system is everything is built by ourselves. So we're very not reliant on the chain. We're not reliant on subgraph or anything like that on chains. So which means that we can deploy on a new chain in a matter of days and go live. It's very simple for us. Just because more or less, and the idea being is, that goes back to, we wanted to build for stability and future proof, and relying on specific chain features that are not part of the fundamental blockchain makes it shaky, makes it questionable, makes it so you can't go around. So we built for stability, long-term growth.
Yeah, sounds fair. Yeah. Cool. So we will see you on ETH first, and it will be bridgeable to Avalanche as well, and looking for Base and other side chains. Super exciting, man. So, in order to do all of these things, you need to have users, you need to have projects. Like, how are you going to attract users to your ecosystem, and how are you going to retain those users?
Well, we have in the first line, we're targeting Web2 projects, right? Like gaming studios that are sitting on Web2 and may want to go into the Web3 direction, or they have fears to do it. We help with that. So I think we do not target directly users, beside like obviously with our games, but in the first case, we're targeting Web2 projects, right? Because if we onboard a game, the users will recognize, oh, what's going on there? Oh, suddenly Web3 is available for us as well. So we think that the users coming with the projects we're going to onboard. But beside that, we have a lot of marketing stuff ongoing, that users testing out our existing games. They can play the games, earn some rewards. And so that brings the users with our games, but in particular onboarding Web2 projects brings their users onto our platform, and it's the main target we have currently.
Wow.
And so just to extend that, we're reaching out to a lot of game developers and game studios, and we got really good feedback until now. So we're getting the first external games on board brings a lot of users, and we're really looking forward to that.
And these are game studios that haven't been active in Web3 yet, so it's their first exploration.
As well as there are other, like there's one in particular, one game studio was saying like, oh, we're taking like 6 months to integrate Web3. Your solution goes in a week. Let's dive into that. Maybe there's a cooperation, right, where we just say, okay, we do it together because it's faster, and they don't need to redevelop the entire game, may break their game economics or whatever. If we provide a solution that it's like, it's cost 10% of the cost they maybe need to spend on it.
Yeah, totally get it. And it makes sense.
I'd like to expand that a little bit further in our growth ideas. Is so the way the system works is an NFT is an individually identifiable asset, and because it is an individually identifiable asset, you can actually take it and use it cross-game. For example, if a game developer decides they want to take this specific NFT from this specific collection on this specific chain. So we may not even have launched on a chain, but you could actually use NFTs from that chain. So in other words, if I'm on base, I could use a NFT collection from Avalanche in the portal, and I can implement items from that NFT collection into my game. So I have, so maybe it's a sword. So great, I have an RPG, I become a sword. But another game could take that exact NFT and that exact asset and say, okay, in my game, it's a space game, so that sword is now a laser pistol. Yeah. And so now you get cross-game pollination of users.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And it could lead to a snowball effect.
It could lead to a lot of collabs between game studios and games.
Yeah, it could. And so you end up with a situation where once it starts and once game developers see the potential, they're going to gamify it. They're going to take it places we never imagined. And that's actually one of the most exciting parts, is thinking about, what's the potential for games and game developers to be able to utilize this technology to really expand the horizons. I was talking about this in the Nexera chat is, well, what about a multi-game assets where in one game you're mining stuff on some future world, and you're taking those assets out, and then you can go to a completely different game and use those assets to craft items. Yeah. And the only place to get those resources is the first game. So now you actually have a multi-game system, but it's the cross-pollination. It's the cross-pollination of users across multiple games with individual assets that can be used in multiple games. That it's going to be a snowball effect. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so for our marketing efforts, once we have a handful of games on, and we can actually showcase, look, you can come into our ecosystem. We have games that are friendly, that we have good relationships with, where we can actually do cross-game assets. So now some of their users can become some of your users, and some of your users can be some of their users, and it will just snowball.
Cool. That is a huge outlook. And I will be very curious to learn also how that concept will translate into other verticals as well. Having assets interchangeable between different implementations or integrations, or even maybe between different verticals.
We were talking about, so Gordon and I were actually discussing the DMV thing, because it was one of those published recently about, taking a government system and putting it on chain. I was like, well, what if you had a racing game or a spaceship game where someone could actually take the title for their car and use the portal, and now they could actually have certain types of spaceships. If they've got a Corvette, they get a Corvette spaceship. If they've got a Cybertruck, now they have a battleship or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So with some creative minds, you can have like millions of these kind of use cases of cross-pollination.
Absolutely, it gets exciting.
Completely different verticals that are normally completely alien to each other. where you can have this kind of cross-pollination. This is huge. That's very, very cool.
We as well have like one in our circle. There's an NFT artist. He's doing great. He's like doing like sword NFTs, right? But in a really cool art. Like it's really and the community loves it. And we had earlier discussions, and he was like, "Okay, is there a way to incorporate my swords into one of your games?" And I was like, "Yeah, because Robomaniacs is a battle game. So let's see how we can make that happen." And so within the portal, his NFT collection easily got attached, and so his sword collections, people can pick their sword and they will get a unique rare item in game because we just made the mapping, right? So this means that we also, like, if they're famous NFT artists, we can just make these collaborations happening in an easy way because it's just mapped on the back end. And I think that's pretty cool because the game grows with the community. And if there is a designer and he comes up with some things and there's a community support, why not doing it, right? Like,
so this could be leverage for skins, but
yes,
it does that also mean that the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT back holders will finally potentially have utility for their for their NFTs.
Well, if the game owner wants to do that, yes, why not?
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Yeah,
That would
that
be
would be
cool
funny.
if people can wear, the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT as a skin in a game, right?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, that really helps to deeply understand what you guys are doing. That makes it even more exciting. Opportunities are really big, super cool. So you're in Web3, right? So you're gonna use you're gonna have to rely on leveraging a lot of social media in order to get word out there. Do you already have some specific strategies in mind? Are you gonna work together with specific people or agencies? Like what's your strategy there?
Paul, should I, or you want to?
Oh, you know the marketing much better than I do. I don't pay much attention to that.
Okay,
I'm just
so
on the tech side.
yeah, let's do it. So on the first line, we have a strong marketing partner with his Omni agency. We were really working close with them, and they have an entire team supporting us. And we have daily and weekly calls where we just come up with our strategies, how to make it happen, how to target users. And we also have like a big KOL background, like within our part of the early investment. We have some major KOLs that's supporting us as well. And apparently yesterday we made a partnership with another big gaming project, and they were like, "Hey guys, let's do a like co-marketing plan together." And so now currently we're working out something where we might make a kind of cross marketing, right? We do something for them which brings the users from their platform to ours and reverse, because they offer something we do not offer, and reverse. And so it's a big opportunity, and this works with all our partners apparently, that we using something they cannot offer in reverse, and then we start doing co-marketing or how's the word? Sorry, co-marketing strategies, like kind of where we just help each other and forcing users into each other's platform. I think that's the key here.
Forcing users in each other's platform. So you're
Yeah.
gonna handcuffs and
not forcing, but like kind of. Well, make the products interesting that users are eager or keen to see what's built there, right? And once they got the utility, they will love it. That's
and actual valuable collaborations with
Yes.
others in the ecosystem. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
things that make sense. Yeah, you guys are the real deal. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Right. So what's gonna happen in the mid long term? What are your business strategy goals for midterm, long term?
I think that's something for Paul, from a product
Yeah,
standpoint.
business strategies. Yeah, so for the long term so our short term is, of course, getting on these games and building the community through our actual B2B. And long term is we want to see this technology continue to grow, continue to become more stable as more people use it. I mean, with new technologies, with new concepts, we realize that there's room for growth, there's room for improvement, there's more room for expansion of what we're actually, what's in our head now. 2 weeks from now, somebody's going to bring up something and we're like, man, that's game changer. Let's put that in. Let's build that. And so our long-term plan is to take this Web 2 to Web 3 bridge and put it into as many verticals as we can. Gaming is the first. It's low-hanging fruit. It should have easier adoption. But RWAs are the next big thing. It's currently starting, but it's going to happen big time, especially now with so many Bitcoin adoption and other things. RWAs are coming, and they're coming to everyday life for every person. And we have the technology to make RWA implementation simple, fast, and effective. And so we're going to tap into every vertical we can. This could be carbon credits, intellectual property, real estate, insurance, cars, DMV, government agencies. The technology we have can be integrated in as that bridge in pretty much any vertical market that's out there.
So DMV, so there was an announcement like a couple of days ago from Avalanche that DMV California is gonna put all the registrations, I believe, on the Avalanche blockchain, on a private subnet, I believe, or a subnet that you're building.
Yeah, exactly.
Ecosystem. Are you guys gonna attack DMV now as well?
The what?
Are you gonna attack the DMV now as well? I mean, hunt on them to get them on board?
We could. We are so focused on what we're doing right now, but I can guarantee that things like that will be on our list as soon as we get this out the door and get this launched and built.
Do you have like a business?
Or put more hours in the day. If we have more hours in the day, then yeah, sure, we'll hit it today.
Yeah. But apparently, and it's good, we just talked about what you brought up. Matthijs, we just talked about this 2 days ago, and we're like, oh, interesting. Oh, let's dive into that and see what we can make happen. So without saying too much, we are aware of these things. And yeah, let's see what the next days bring with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, smart. Makes sense. And do you have, you mentioned already like how you're approaching game studios to get on board, but gaming is just that one vertical, and you have like many other opportunities out there. Like now we discussed DMV. Do you have any business development strategy in beyond like the gaming vertical, where you have like an initial second focus or third focus after you nail that down?
I don't think at this point we actually have a specific strategy for those, although what we have built over the past 6 months are a group of advisors and partners that know spaces beyond they've expanded our vision, and they understand these other spaces better than we do. And this is why we brought them on as advisors. And so I believe that continuing to work with them as we move forward, as soon as we have the opportunity to, put our heads up and take a breath, that building into those additional verticals is something that with our advisors and our partners will be completely possible. And we'll formulate a plan thereon.
And before we move on to the next section, because now we will do community questions, and I believe there are already a couple of questions that were rolling in. So I want to first, do a call to the community. Please, if you have any questions, you can ask them now. You can do so in the Nexera Telegram chat. Just put them in the chat. There is a team looking for questions that are coming in, and they're forwarded to us. And I think, there has been a question. I don't think it was from today, but a little bit back. I know that you answered already in the chat, Gordon, I believe, around the difference between the angel and the seed round. And could you maybe explain like what that really, what's that about, so that it's also for the audience of this live stream clear?
Yeah, definitely. I think the question becomes that we didn't had an angel and a seed round. We only had the seed round, right? That was the initial plan. And the question was like why we changed that. So I'm straightforward here. We started raising like 4 months ago already, right? And we had a small circle. We got some smart guys on board, there from day one. And then we started growing, right? We made partnerships, we get advisors on board, and we reached out to central exchanges, to IDO platforms. So, and since the network grow, right, there were also discussions like how we can make this a success together. How do we need to change things, right? And so as we got in contact with you, Matthijs, and we had a great opportunity to be listed on the Fundrs, we need to make room for this, right? So we cut the private and we created a seed round out of the private without having an impact and without, bothering earlier investors. We just made the room for that. So, and since we had done the seed round up, the opportunity for the Fundrs listing has been opened. And the earlier seed round just had been renamed to Angel. It's just a renaming. So from there, it's not a major change, but you know how it works. If you work with partners, in particular with IDO platforms, and in particular with the bigger ones, everybody tries to, give advice. And, hey, guys, you need to change a bit here and there in order to make it a success. And honestly, we're open-minded to that. If someone is giving us an advice and we need to see if it works or not. And honestly, with the recent collaborations and opportunities we got, right, we had to change things, but not in an egoistic way. Everything has been communicated between the early investors and our tokenomics, and there was no complaint. Everybody was happy because there's a choice. We need to make minor adjustments, and you have the chance to be on the top IDO platform, or if we don't do these changes, we go with a top 20 launchpad, and then it's in the best interest for the project. So there has been some agreements with partners, advisors, and then we had a one-time bigger change in the tokenomics, and that's the reason why we had to adjust things. But I think honestly it makes the most sense because the bigger the partners and the IDO platform itself, some changes may worth, but we've closed these things, right? Matthijs, you can confirm that the tokenomics are nailed down right now. There will be not any change, and so the current tokenomics are the final ones.
No, we are actually supporting you guys with your launch strategy, and it's going to be an exciting one. Going to be a lot of hard work in the next couple of months, but it's going to be definitely worth it. So I don't know if any more questions are rolling in the meantime. I believe there's not a lot of questions, but while waiting for any potential new questions, like, are there maybe things that I haven't asked you today that you really would love to talk about, or that you would love to share, or maybe some kind of alpha that you want to share with the community so that they can hear it here first before everything is going to be launched next week?
Well, I think something I would love to mention is that the platform in NitroDome is entirely built to bring Web 2 and Web 3 users together, right? And I didn't point this out before, but all the gaming platforms outside there, they're taking a Web 2 game and they making it into a Web 3 game. So they're losing the Web 2 gamers. The concept we have built and the entire platform is so that we're extending the Web 2 game and to be, there's a Web 3 option on it. So nobody is getting cut out. Users don't need to be a Web 2 gamer or a Web 3 gamer. Boost gamers can play the game. And I share my screen and show how it works, but it's important. And so what I want to say is that the entire platform is built in a best way for Web 2 users as well. You don't need to connect your wallet. You can also purchase with fiat. We have a fiat on-ramp today. We closed our PayPal integration, so people can also, or a gamer user can purchase game packages with PayPal, with Visa card and everything. So the entire platform is literally also Web 2 compatible fully. Nobody is forced to do anything. And if a user wants to go the Web 3 direction, we try to make it as easy as possible with the fiat on-ramp, with our partners like with Kima. We have a Web 3 solution that makes everything really smart and straightforward. And so we want to close the gap really and make it easy for the users. Another thing is that I want to point out is that we have like a kind of bounty program. We need the community support, right? I mean, we're reaching out to games, but we know our community is like gamers for now. And so all these gamers playing multiple games. Right? So if a user is out there and saying like, I love this tech, I'm playing a game and I want to have my game on the NitroDome portal, and he maybe has the connection. Let's make it happen. So I'm calling all gamers and users of NitroDome and future gamers. If you're playing another game and you love the game and you want to see this game, just set up us a connection and we hop on the call, we pitch the entire thing. And if the game is getting onboarded on the NitroDome platform, we're giving out a bounty for these users as a motivation kick, or to say so, to incentivize
I
users to have.
love this. I love this, guys. You're giving business development bounties. That's super smart.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah, this is the
absolutely.
right community to tap into the boundaries like this. That's perfect, perfect. So yeah, anyone watching, if you have any connections with the game studio out there, and you think like these guys are building games that could benefit from NitroDome's infrastructure and products, and do maybe not necessarily have the funding or the time or the patience to try out how a venture in Web3 would work out. I mean, let's go, guys. There is a bounty for making that connection and making that work out. Absolutely amazing. Did you also want to? Did I understand correctly that you also wanted to show something?
Yeah, I can definitely show. I'm going to share my screen. So I just, showing the entire product takes 90 minutes because we have built so much. I'm not going to do that, but I just want to show you the portal, guys, and how it literally works, that you get an understanding from how it looks like. So I start first with a game, right? So you can see my screen, guys.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So this is Robomaniacs. This is our Web2 MMO game that I explained earlier. The goal of the game is, users should tweak their bot, get more items, have daily league fights, collecting experience, and just making these tiny bot like a war machine at the end. But however, you don't see inside that game, you don't see any web wallet connect, you don't see MetaMask, because this is entirely a Web2 game. Right? There's no Web3 components in there. So the question becomes, how can we make this game a Web3 game? It's quite easy. As Paul mentioned earlier, we provide a backend. The game developer needs to make some tweaks on his database, and then we can incorporate the game through our backends into the portal. So now, from a user perspective, right, you're playing this game and you have game assets. So let's get with this barrel armor. You've seen the green thing with the eye in the middle, or the oil, right? So now I go to the portal and you can see this is the portal on a NitroDome gaming platform. You can select your game here, right? So we have chosen already Robomaniacs. We choose the game level because they're like different game levels inside Robomaniacs, but we start with Utopica. This is where my robot currently is on. And so now on the left side, I see all my item inventory. What does it mean is I go back to the game. I see here is my barrel thing, right? So I can see it here. So now, if a user wants simply convert this as an NFT, or he selects the item, clicks on convert, and what happens then? The item gets removed from the game. I just can do it here. And so I'm just triggering a transaction. The game item gets literally removed from the game, and then the NFT gets minted. So afterwards, the NFT is in my wallet, and I can just go straight forward to the NFT marketplace, to the NFT DEX, and I can simply, sell my items or do whatever I want with that, keeping it in my wallet. By the way, this is my local deployment, so it is just takes 1 second. But however, I go back to just wait that. So you see that the green thing is done here, right? So I go back to the game. I just switch the tabs, and then I can see that my in-game item disappeared from here, right? So the oil thing is gone. It's not available anymore. And so if I go here, I'm just doing a reload, and you can see that my NFT is here. So now I have this as NFT, and this is a real NFT. This is not just displayed. This item is inside my wallet. And so I can trade this NFT, and it works reverse, right? I can just pick another NFT here and say, this NFT should be in my game. So I click on convert. The NFT gets sent to a treasury or gets burned. Disappears from my wallet, and on the left hand, it becomes an inventory. So I can go back to my game, and this inventory will be available in my game, literally. So may you get an impression how it works, but from a visual standpoint, you have seen with inside the game, there's no wallet connect, no MetaMask, users can play it. And if someone just say, hey, I want to NFTify my assets, I want to trade them, well, go to the portal, pick the game, pick the level, convert your item, and then do what you want to do with that. And and if someone is new to the game and just want to have like some great items, go to the marketplace, purchase them, use the portal, and you have it, right? We don't leave anything behind, or nobody behind. A Web2 user can stay a Web2 user, a Web3 gamer user can use all the benefits. And this is how the portal works. And as the portal tech literally is not only limited to gaming, may you get an idea how it can become for the entire RWA space, because in the drop down, we're not selecting games. So we can select the Amazon Marketplace. We can select anything where you can turn your Web2 items, assets, into an NFT. And this is how the portal tech works. I hope that gave you a clear picture.
Yeah, no, for me, absolutely. I'm pretty sure that for the ones watching this as well, or will be watching this later, for sure, I think there is a lot of potential in that. And just already for just the gaming vertical, taking into account that there are maybe partnerships with games where the partner will create their own game items as NFTs, and they will be importable into the game in specific circumstances. So there's a lot of opportunity marketing wise for game studios and other projects out there. Yeah,
Absolutely.
super cool. So we are nearing the end of this AMA. I will do one final check if we have more questions rolling in, but I think that's kind of it. We already covered the question around marketing. So what's going to happen next week for everyone watching is that NitroDome is going to do a fundraising round on Fundrs. It's going to be a seed round on Fundrs for the community, and it's going to go live on 6th of August. And with that, if you want to participate in that round, you will have to stake Nexera in order to accumulate RLBT. You can either lock that stake and get that RLBT upfront, or you can have that as a flexible stake and be able to claim the RLBT that you accumulated over time. You will need RLBT in order to be able to purchase a ticket, for which you also will still need a stablecoin. So if you haven't done so already, start staking Nexera. Make sure that you will be able to do also the KYC verification if you haven't done so, for the participation in NitroDome in time, because we never know. We had a couple of fundraising rounds in the past few months that has sold out in very short time frames. So now you have 1 week in advance to start working, well, a little bit less than 1 week in advance to start working on getting that KYC verification done, getting the Nexera staked, and be ready for participation in the fundraising round for NitroDome. So thank you all so much for watching today. Really excited. I learned, even after a lot of conversation, still learned a tiny bit more about, especially the potential that you guys have. Makes me even more excited. Looking forward to next week for the fundraising round and to continuous working together with you guys, because it's not just about that fundraising, right? So any final words, guys?
Well, from my end, I'm super thankful for having the partnership with you guys. It's just for everyone else outside there. It's not just getting listed on Fundrs. We're working close with Nexera. We're super excited and proud of this partnership, because there will be some stuff we do in the future as well, especially with other products like Nexera ID, right? The KYC stuff. So we try to incorporate this as well as a small teaser. But other than this, we're super thankful for this opportunity, guys. And if you have any questions, if anything is unanswered, just reach out to us, come to our Telegram channel, or even we are available in the Nexera public. Whatever you want to ask. We do not have something or anything to hide. And we're looking forward to work with you guys and be part of this great community. Thank you.
And otherwise, you're going to force everyone as a user, right?
That's what she said, yeah.
All right. Oh, thanks again, guys. It was really great having you. Thank you so much for being able to join this live stream. And I hope this format for everyone worked out well. You can view it back on YouTube. We had participation from Twitter, from Telegram, from YouTube. I don't know, for YouTube as well. So that's pretty cool. We haven't tried that yet before, and if the numbers are okay and if the community feedback is okay, I guess we'll do this some more next time. But for now, thank you, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your days, and see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thanks, Matthijs.